Welcome to Podcast for Profit, the show where podcasters become CEOs. I'm your host, Tony Porter, and every week I'm giving you the strategy, systems, and game you need to grow your audience, monetize your message, and build a seven-figure podcast business. No fluff, no cap, just real results. Let's get into it.
So, most influential people you ever see, you ever meet, aren't on billboards. You don't see them on the highway billboards. But what you do understand, or what you need to understand, is this. They are building quietly. Today's guest is someone, let me say this. This is a good friend of mine, man. But I want to make sure you understand, today's guest is someone I didn't meet in the boardroom. I met this cat on the football field a few years ago out at Moore High School. Back then, I was coaching linebackers. He was the go-to guy. He was the everything we needed to have done, but mainly he was the tech guy. He was grinding, learning. He was showing up every single day. I think my man put in more work doing this than anything. Now, fast forward a few years later, the same work ethic has turned into him running his own company. And now he's the CEO of Tailor-Made Pest Control. Now, it's a growing company built from the ground up by my mans who decided he didn't want to work a regular job. I don't think he wanted to deal with too many folk that didn't have or set up on his level. He wanted to build a future. So before that, I know for a fact that I watched him and I've been around him. He sharpened his skills over his SWAT team pest control, learning the game before stepping out on his own, which to me, I think was the super cool move because I have watched him do his infamous pest funerals. They are so hilarious. You have to tap in with him, man. See, this conversation isn't just about pest control. So I don't want you to think that that's what this is. It's about transitioning. It's about transformation. It's about ownership. And most important, it's about what happens when discipline meets the vision. Whether you're an employee, an entrepreneur, or someone standing on the edge of a big decision, man, guess what? This episode's for you. So sit back. Let's tap in. I got my man. Let me introduce you to him, man. His name, the owner, the proud owner of Tailor-Made Pest Control. His name is Mr. Christian Allen. What's up, my guy?
Hey, not much. How's it going, dude?
Man, it is going great, man. So, you know, I gave you that intro because that's where I know you from. That's where
that was a heck of an intro, man. I don't know if I can live up to it.
Whatever, my guy. So listen, here's the thing, man. What a lot of people don't understand is when I tell folk you was the all go-to guy. Like when I first met Christian, man, he was running around. He was figuring out how to set up huddle. He was trying to figure out how to make sure things worked at the field. That wasn't his job. He was brought on as the special teams guy. He was brought on as the root to all evil. But Christian became the go-to guy, not only for what was going on at the school, but he was also the go-to guy for the kids. The kids loved him. And that was the beauty of understanding who this guy was. Now, here's what a lot of people don't understand. He was young back then. He still is young. He's younger than me.
I'm old.
But when I say my man's was young, man, listen, he's partially the reason why right now your boy has the Jeep. All right. Because we done bent a few corners in that Jeep. And listen, I tell you one thing, when my man puts that foot to that pedal, my man gets it moving, boy. So, Christian, what's good, bro? How's everything going with you, man?
Oh, it's going, man. It's, every day's a journey. Every day's another adventure. And, wouldn't have it any other way.
Hey, you know what, dude? I'm going to say this. I don't have to. I'm going to say this. Your work ethic is unreal. All right. So we've traveled the football ranks for a few years until you finally decided that you was going to make the transition into taking on the pest game. All right. And so this is probably going to be the funniest story before we get into this. So we moved down to Shawnee High School, everyone. And my man's comes to practice. Now, at that particular time, I think my truck was down. No, somebody had my truck, or it was down. So I said, hey, man, can you drop me off, take me to the crib? So I gets in his work truck, got this nice size van. I get in the passenger seat and I heard something rumbling in the back. Man, I turn around, he got a rapid raccoon back here. I'm like, bruh, this thing been in here the whole time? He's like, shh, listen, I'm going to give him a farewell. I'm going to let him back into the wild. I said, dude, are you out here? That's when I knew my man's was the funniest guy that you ever wanted to be around, man. So, but other than that, I want to say this, and we're going to get started. I've watched you grow. I might not always tap in, man. I've watched you. I've watched your journey. I've watched you go through this pest control to become the pest influencer. I never knew there was a pest influencer until I paid attention to what you was doing. You have taken this pest control to a whole nother level. Now, I've witnessed the ups and downs. I've witnessed you've come around with some of these crazy comments. What I've come to realize is that's people.
Yeah.
But what I've seen you do is I've seen you stand tall. I've seen you build. Remember, man, I watched you take and redo a house and make it into something of a home when we used to come out and just meet. Now, like, dude, it's like I'm looking around. You got office, you got this, I'm like, dude, done really blew this thing all the way up, man. So, man, shout out to you, my guy. And I hope everything is all well and good. And I want to get you in and get you out because I know you're a busy guy. Is that cool with you?
Cool with me, man.
All right, so let's get started. All right, so listen, I always want to talk about relationships. All right, so we're going to open this thing up with this one right here. So when we met on the football field, me coaching linebackers, you grinding as the tech guy. Before Teleme Pest Control, man, let's set the stage for these people. What was Christian's life like?
My life back then was a lot of eating and a lot of running around. So a lot of chicken. The boys love chicken. But no, just a lot of running around, working a full-time job and then essentially working another full-time job, out there at school, coaching football and, hanging with the kids and hanging with you goobers too.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, you've been so busy, man. You haven't tapped in with us, man. Like we literally have these phone conversations. And, once you kind of like decided you wasn't going to coach no more, we wasn't going to bother you with all of the nonsense that's going on. So we've all kind of stayed in touch, man. And actually, I sat down today and had lunch with Jim.
Okay.
And man, I told him, I said, man, I'm getting ready to interview Christian today, on the podcast. He said, oh, man, tell Christian. I said, what's going on, man? Because, Jim don't do podcasts. And he don't do social media. He'll tell you, I have no social media. And he said, then when I found out I was on social media, who put me on there? I said, I plead the fifth because it wasn't me. So listen, man. So back then, this is one of those questions. If anybody's paying attention to me, I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure I ask the right questions at the right time. What was going through your head back then? Did you already know yourself? Did you already see yourself, owning a business, or were you just focused on getting through day by day?
Yeah, no, I had no intentions of owning a business. I knew the hard work that went into it, and I had zero interest. I tell people I'm a reluctant entrepreneur. I did it because, the options seem pretty slim elsewhere.
Yeah.
And so, the next step was just try it on my own. And so here we are about 4 or 5 years later. So yeah, it was not going through my mind at all back then. It was just, live another day, enjoy the craziness that's around and, continuing to just enjoy life.
It is a lot. It was a lot of craziness. Matter of fact, man, one of your former boss now works over at Metropolitan Sewer District.
Oh, does he? Okay.
He's the head of facilities over there. So
all right. Well, good for him.
We've crossed paths, and that was probably kind of one of the conversations that, we both looking at each other like, I ain't forgot what you said. You knew I didn't really care. So anyway, man, that's not what we're here for. So when you got in, when you started in the Pest game, early on, did you really expect a lot from this? Like, what most people wouldn't expect. What did you think was going to come from it?
I had zero expectations. I don't think anybody grew up and said, I'm gonna grow up and I want to be a bug guy. Everybody just kind of happens into it, and that's kind of how it was for me. It was just a job. It was a way I could pay bills, and it's kind of fun. But yeah, I had no real intentions of making it a career. And I sure didn't think I was going to own a business. So
listen, man, listen. Now you said that people kind of like just mosey their way into it. Not in those particular words, but you said they kind of mosey their way into it.
Yep.
From my perspective, there's a lot of moseying that has been going on.
There's a lot of moseying. There's a lot of past when I tell you accidental.
Hey, when I tell you, my guy, when I tell you now, I follow that. I keep one eye on you. I always make sure. But what's so I didn't know it was so many conferences. I didn't know it was so many people. And it's just like, I think I commented on a post that you made one time, maybe a couple of years ago. And I kid you not, man, 100 of your Pest friends start popping up on my page. I'm like, hey, I know Christian. I don't know you. But I started to understand that these is folk that are well needed, because we got some critters. Yeah. We definitely got some critters out here roaming. All right. And so, I just, hey, shout out to you, man. I always going to shout you out, because the stuff that you do, I can't imagine myself doing. I can't do it. And it's just, man, it's crazy.
I feel like you're crazy enough, dude. I think you can do it.
Yeah, you said that.
I've seen you interact with some of them kids. These animals and critters ain't too much different.
Hey, they've gotten worse, brother. They've gotten worse. Trust me when I tell you, that bunch out there was way different. And they wanted to be educated. This group, nah, they cool with felon. And that's the hard part. I try to stick in this game because I wanted them to understand. And now it's like, whatever. It's to the point. I told Jim today, man, I might just go on and retire, bro. And then he got to talking about something. I said, I don't know if I'm gonna retire now. You talking about he talking about coming back. I'm like, oh man. And then he got I said, you know what? No, I can't retire. Anyway, bro. So listen to me, man. Listen, let me ask you this. Now, working at that stable situation with SWAT team, and how much courage did it take once you realized that you was about to be the owner of your own company? Was there any fear of you almost stopping from starting Tema Pest Control? And then was there any sleepless nights? These are the questions I want to ask, because I could ask you the normal stuff. Hey, what spray do you use? I wouldn't understand that.
Yeah.
And I don't think the listeners would understand that, because we want you to know, we want them to understand what has kept you up at night, and was there anything that almost stopped you? So was there anything that almost stopped you from starting your own company? And then again, what courage, basically I'm asking you, what inspired you to really say, I'm stable over here, but I want to go out on my own?
So there is no fear. I mean, you know me, man. So I just
had to ask. I already know that.
Head first in, head first in, think about the consequences later, and
shoot from the hip, buddy. Shoot from the hip.
Good or bad. I mean, it's it's one of those things where it's like, well, I think I can do it, and we're just gonna go ahead and see what happens, and the worst that can happen is I fail. And so so there's really no there's no fear, and there is nothing really that was stopping me from doing it. It was just this is probably the right next step, and let's go ahead and do it.
Okay. Okay.
As far as like sleepless nights, I mean, every other day is sleepless nights. I mean, there's a lot of stress that that you take on when you own the company. So, you gotta make sure you pay the people. That's very important.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure customers are taken care of.
Of course.
You gotta make sure that the services that your people are doing are living up somewhat to your expectation. You got you got to pay bills. You got to continue to make sure money's coming in, and that you're getting the sales that comes in. That's the lifeblood of any company.
Right.
So yeah, you just got you know it's essentially just like a one big family, except you don't have a steady guaranteed check that's coming in.
Okay.
Because you have to go and hunt. You have to go get that money. And so it's a lot of things. And then when you bring on people, I think coaching really helped kind of prepare me to have employees, because they're just older versions of the kids. You deal with the same craziness. You shake your head at most of the same stuff. They're just older, and it just surprises you a little bit more, because they're supposed to know some of these things that they don't know. And so,
That's
but
crazy.
I think is a good life lesson, coaching, and it's kind of really helped prepare for dealing with people. That's the biggest part of, I think, any business is the people, whether it's the customers or your employees.
Yeah. No doubt.
And but yeah, I mean, there's good days and there's bad days and there's everything in between. And you can't let yourself get too high when the goods are good, but you can't let yourself get too low when things are going horrible. You kind of have to try to find that middle line that you keep steady Eddie, and continuing to steer the ship in the direction that it needs to go. And sometimes it's hard decisions you have to do. Sometimes that's letting somebody go. That's sometimes deciding to change something that you guys have been doing this way for a while.
Okay.
There's all sorts of decisions that you just have to make, and then stick with it. So
Hey, so you basically went with that particular answer, had answered one of the questions that I was ready to ask. And so, you talked about the stress. And I'm quite sure there was long hours mixed in with this just as well. Because
yeah.
now, I know you got your homeboy, your friend that you really tight with. I've seen y'all eating dinner or lunch or whatever you want, midnight breakfast or whatever you want to call it, man, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, bro. So I know he runs his own particular businesses.
Yeah.
And y'all kind of like y'all just mingle together. Y'all do whatever. And so that's the great thing that I see when it comes to businesses, because you two network well together. From the time that I've seen you talk about Mr. Shields, his name is Mr. Shields, for those who don't know who I'm talking about. From the time I've seen y'all together, I've seen y'all mesh together. And I mean, y'all really like feed off of each other. I remember the one luncheon that y'all had, it was the tech day. You had just got an Amazon package. And I can remember a lot of times you would come on, on Facebook and be like, got another package, gotta go. And I'm like, this boy, you just got a package the other day. And you be 4, 5 packages in. So I'm like, all right, man. So, hey, it is what it is. But again, I love the networking that you and Mr. James Shields do, because it shows the growth from a different point of view. Now, I want to ask you this. when you became that business owner, how did you see yourself change as a man and as a leader? Because I know, now granted, what I'm trying to say to everyone is Christian, when I met him, was in his 20s. All right. So when I'm asking this question, a lot of y'all out here who are claiming to want to own businesses, my man started in his 20s, grinding. He just told you it's a lot of things you got to do that you don't want to do. But over time, like I've seen the transformations. My man done went from the crew cut to the cornrow. My man is everywhere. But that's him. You can't take nothing away from it because, hey, man, that's what he do. So again, when you became that business owner, how do you see yourself growing as a man or any change to yourself? And as a leader, now that you have to be in control of not only your destiny, but your lovely wife's destiny. Yeah, I know she works, but I'm just saying, how does that work out for you, my guy?
Everything is just becomes like everything kind of gets treated like a job. So, I put everything in a calendar. It's sad, but vacations gets scheduled out, gets put in a calendar. Date nights get scheduled, put in a calendar.
Okay.
Anything she wants to do gets put in the calendar. She knows if it don't get put in the calendar, it ain't happening. And everything just becomes like a task essentially to check off.
Okay.
And there's a lot of things getting thrown at you all at one time. And so, and the only way you can eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And so essentially you just have to do that, just multiply that by like 1,000 with everything. So, if I need to do something and I'm not doing it right now, I just put it in the phone, it goes in the little Google task, and then it gets popped on my calendar, and I know, okay, that's going to get something that needs to get checked off and that needs to get done. Or, hey, I noticed that, one of my people didn't do something and might need to talk to them about it later. I'll just make a little note, and that's something that gets checked off. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just everything kind of gets put in a box and prioritized. Kind of goes from like super immediate, needs to get taken care of now, to like kind of important, to like we can push this off a little bit.
Okay.
And you just got to learn how to prioritize things, and and then you have to learn how to manage your time, because everybody's given the same amount of time. Everybody's given 24 hours in a day. And, depending on the people, 4 to 8 hours, 4 to 10 hours are sleeping. So that leaves you with, anywhere from 14 to, 18 hours in a day to get stuff done. And so I've learned you have to maximize all those times. And you also have to block in time for you not to do anything, whether that's just you chilling, on a couch or watching TV. You got to put those times in there and allow yourself time to kind of recoup, so you can be optimal in getting all the stuff done.
Yeah, you know what, man, and that's great. That's a great point when you talk about the calendar. So I recently started back doing, of course, I'm doing a podcast, but now I'm teaching how to monetize and how to take your podcast and build it as a business, right? And so one of the main things that one of my mentors was telling me was, you got to learn how to maximize your time. We want to take the time back. And for the longest, I never understood that. And then one day we was walking through and I set up my Google Calendar and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, this is what he mean by that. So when you said that, that's why I'm over like, yeah, I understand that. Because before the interview, I had to detox. I had to woosah. It was a rough day. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, let me sit on this couch for a second. Yeah, let the brain just come down and feel extra good about what I need to do. I need to focus on this interview. I need to focus on, and for me, it's not a hard interview because you're my friend, but I want people to see that there's good and there's bad to being an entrepreneur, no matter what field we're in. It's good and there's bad. There's stress, there's mistakes that are being made. And so when I asked you to come back on, I'm like, I'm going to reach out to my guy. I know he's busy. He'll give me a time. We'll set it up. As soon as you said you're in, I'm like, oh, we're going to get this scheduled today. I start looking for stuff. I'm like, yeah, we're going to make sure. Let me change. I changed the link up. Let me get him in her now. So I can lock this in. So when this episode drops next Thursday, everybody, matter of fact, I might even drop it early. I might drop it Saturday morning, man. I'm good at that editing now. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna take me no week. It's gonna take me a couple hours. But so, and like I said, man, it's so good to have conversations because this is what this is. We haven't seen each other. You've been busy, I've been busy, but this is a conversation. So let me ask you one. I got a couple more questions I want to ask you. So one of them I want to ask you. One of the questions I truly want to ask you is this right here. Now, take us back to when year one started for you at TaylorMade Pest Control. What was one of your biggest challenges nobody warned you about?
The biggest challenge nobody warned you about. That's a good one.
I told you I got better with this question.
Yeah, you got really. Hey, you stepped up your game, my man.
I had to.
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges that that nobody really warned you about. Well, there might be a couple. So the biggest one, everybody doesn't have really is obscurity. Nobody knows who you are.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're a brand new business. I mean, even now, I went to a networking event today and somebody's like, oh, I've never heard of it. I'm like, well, that's okay. We've only been around like 4 or 5 years. So, we're not the Orkins and Terminexes of the world. So people just don't know who you are. And then, we're both from Louisville. You grew up here. I didn't. I learned really quickly that there is one question that matters the most in anybody's mind when it comes to Louisville, and it's where you went to school. And when you ask where you went to school, it's not college, it's high school.
What high school did you go to?
What high school did you go to?
That has always baffled me, man. Like most people, they want to know what college you went to. No, what high school did you go to?
Yeah. When they say school, it's high school.
Yeah, it really is. And a lot of people don't know that, man. A lot of people, I'm going to tell you, a lot of people never paid attention to that. We had that conversation one time and you was like, why is it every time somebody asks what school you go to, it's high school? I said, you know what? I've never realized that. And I'm sitting here with a college degree and I'm like, I never tell them what college I go to. I tell them what high school I graduated from.
First time I learned that was, somebody asked, I was like, oh, I didn't go to school. Thought you didn't go to school? Like, no, I didn't go to school. Like, really? Like, where you go? You can't go to high school. I'm like, oh, high school? I'm like, oh, well, okay, well, you guys don't know, but I guess I could tell you.
Hey, man, I kid you. I remember when you said that the first time. Hey, man, but it's so true. It's so true though, because it's like, what school did you go to? But here's the thing though. So let me help people understand. Certain parts of town takes care of their own. All right. Mm-hmm. So if you go to Trinity or St. X, if you live in any one of those areas, you got a job for life. I don't care if you go to college or not. You can be the biggest bum. And it's the same for every high school.
Yep.
St. Matthews has Trinity and Wagner in it. But when you go to Middletown, it's Eastern, it's Cal. And now it's not even got to the point where you might not be following it, but now they are out here promoting kids that's going to high school like they just signed a national letter of intent, man. Like they putting up posters. They putting up posters. Welcome to. I'm like, oh my God, they taking this a little too far, man. So, I mean,
100%. I know somebody that, she's a nice girl, but she got a job because of where she went to school.
Yeah.
I was like, that's great, I guess, but okay, more power to you.
Hey, man. So if you go out So if you go out Dixie Highway,
Yeah.
once you get to Greenwood Road, anything within inside of that corridor of Greenwood Road, if you went to PRP, you got a job for life.
Yeah.
Once you cross Greenwood Road, now you out at Valley High School. And it's the same out there. I'll be like, dude, what? And don't let them find out you didn't go to neither one of those schools. Oh, and we can't forget that even at Greenwood Road, when you turn left, there's Dawes High School right up the road.
Yeah.
And then further down,
Western, right?
Western. And see, Western has now changed. Shout out to Western, our coach out there. Western has now changed, man. It's not the same Western that a lot of the kids went to. So, yeah. I needed that laugh, bro. I really did.
I mean, so the number one is obscurity.
Okay.
But then the other thing is just juggling everything. Like, you know that you're going to be busy, but then you didn't realize, oh, well, you have to make time. You have to carve out time for personal stuff that you used to just enjoy and just do because you had time. Now you actually have to make time for it.
Oh, okay.
And so people don't tell you that. And then I think the other thing most people don't tell you is just the emotional the emotional toll that it takes on relationships with your wife, girlfriend, kids, if you have kids, you as the business owner / entrepreneur are making sacrifices, but you're not the only one. It's the missus, it's the kids that's home. They're making sacrifices too, that they didn't really sign up for. My wife did because she pretty much told me I should. So I told her she don't have, she can't complain. She asked for it. But not a lot of people ask their wife, if they're gonna do this. They're just like, hey, we're gonna do this. And the wife's like, okay, let's go. And then it's all the stuff down the road. So I'd say those are like the top 3, maybe. There's probably more out there, but
hey, man, I swear. Bruh, when I tell you, man, like there are just certain things that man, I sit back and I pay attention. And again, I've watched you transform. I've seen you putting in those long hours. Not to put your business out there, but I can remember the one time that you was talking about you had that contract and you had to be there like real early in the morning. And it was like 2 a.m. you was getting ready. I'm like, 2 a.m.? Bro, I was asleep. But then I got to thinking, that's the life of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And most entrepreneurs that I have spoken with, most business owners I have spoken with, they would tell you, I'm up at the crack of dawn. And when they say the crack of dawn, they don't mean 6 o'clock. They mean 3 o'clock. So they're getting their day started at 3. So by the time 6 roll around, they're already 4 or 5 tasks in. And I'm like, oh my God, is this what I want to do? And sure enough, man, so you can, for those out here listening, if you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you want to even join the pest game, you need to really pay attention to what he's talking about, because y'all don't get it. Like, I see, this is what burns me up, and we're going to move on, but I want to say this to you, and I know you are particular about certain things yourself. This is what burns me up. You can't tell me you're going to start a business and you're going to tell me you open at a certain time, and when I show up to patronize your facility or your company, you not open. And I go to your Facebook page, oh, we had a mild setback. Man, you had a mild setback yesterday and the day before. Now, the one thing I will say is this, because I fell in love with I used to look forward to the Pest funerals. I really did. Boy, them was the funniest things. You and the homeowner bow your head. I was like, he's really holding a funeral. But it was hilarious. It was super hilarious. And when we jump off of this call, I'm going to tell you something when we end it, because, it's something I found out that could help elevate or generate another stream for you. So I'm going to tell you about that, man, because I just found this out, and it's super crazy because I didn't know it. And the whole time I've been sitting around with this gold, man, and I just happened to stumble across him. So yeah, y'all ain't gonna get it, but he'll get it because he deserves to have it. So let me ask you this, man, because like I said, I never want to keep you over the time frame, and we've kind of got there, but man, I'm having a good time. So listen, it's one thing I want to ask you is, how do you stay disciplined when, again, you've talked about this, but when you have to be responsible for making sure the customer's right, making sure your peoples is doing what they supposed to do, making sure your reputation is top notch? Because listen, you just said that you was at a networking event and they didn't know who you was. But here's the thing that will behoove me. If you don't know who he is now, get ready, because he's only in year 4 or 5. So again, get ready, because see, I'm that type of person. I'm gonna talk about it. Listen, need pest control? Call my guy. That's how I do. Like, I got a guy that's a plumber. He runs his own company. He's gonna be on the episode too. Man, I'm sending. I ain't even supposed to do it. Hey, you know you ain't supposed to send nobody that way. Oh, I'm not? Okay. You need a plumber? Yeah, call this guy. I'd do it in a heartbeat. I don't care. Like, what y'all gonna do? Fire me? I can retire. What? I'm 28 years in on my. Anyway, so again, how do you stay disciplined, knowing you got to be responsible to deal with the customers? Because sometimes these customers is irate. Your employees, they might forget something, or they just be lackadaisic sometimes, and making sure your reputation is on top, man.
That's easy. Bills. I like this thing called food and electricity.
Chicken. Remember, we was a chicken eating team, bro.
Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, again, it all comes back to time. Everybody's given the same amount of time on Earth. Same amount of time in a day. Right. We all gonna die at different times. But everybody, until you kick the bucket, have the same amount of time on Earth to do everything that you need to do. And the most successful people really knows how to maximize every minute, and even down to like seconds, on what they're doing. Whether it's, they're 45 minutes strong in something and then take a 15-minute break, or, they know, these 3 hours they're going to hit it and get it going and get everything done without any distractions. Or sometimes it's even just getting up. Most people now know that I get up like around 4 every day, and people are like, man, you crazy. I'm like, well, I am, but nobody else is up at 4. So nobody else is bothering me with things. So from 4 to 6, I can get a lot of stuff done without any interruptions in life. Phone's not ringing. People aren't asking me anything. So it's really like a time that I can have some peace and quiet to myself, but then also I can get a lot of stuff done before the day really starts rolling. And, some days, I might get up at 4, I might stay in bed till another hour. It's my hour to do whatever I want from 4 to 5.
Right.
Get another hour of sleep, I'm going to get another hour of sleep. But I've also learned that there's days that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get another hour or 2 of sleep. And I get up, I'm like, crap, I forgot I gotta get this, and this done now. The day is already been started, and now we're behind the 8 ball. And I'm like, crap, I keep doing this to myself. Can't do it. And so it's really just about understanding that it goes back to a list. I have a list of things I got to get done, and I've prioritized them from high, medium to low priority. And I know that it doesn't get done if I don't do it. And so, and it also goes back to, something I was saying, you mentioned that, you see some businesses and they're like, oh, something happened and, we're closed or whatever. Life happens.
Yeah. I get that.
Life happens. But one of the things I really started, that I say, and one of the things I really believe is, you can't control necessarily what happens to you, but you can control what you do with what you do after. And, that's I think that's like the big key discipline is, and we try to teach the kids this, somebody might take a cheap shot in the game and, they're going to start acting like a fool and, rightfully so. The other team made a cheap shot and, now they're pissed, now they're mad and they want to retaliate. Well, the ones who retaliate is always the one who gets penalized and always the ones who get in trouble.
Correct.
And it goes back to, the other team can do what they want. But at the end of the day, we have to control ourselves, and we are responsible for our own actions, not the other team's actions, not what happens in the world. We're only responsible for what we can control. And, I think once people really start understanding that, you can get, I think, more things, you'll be more successful and you'll be able to get more things done because you're no longer worried about what you can't control, but you're really worried about what you can control.
Okay. Hey man, that was a good answer. I'm not even gonna front. That was a damn good answer, my guy. So listen, now we come to this portion that I like to throw out here. So it's called rapid fire.
Okay.
I got 4 questions I'm gonna ask you. Give me your quickest answer.
Okay.
All right. So, like I said, I got 4 questions. You give me your quickest answer. We'll move to the next one. Give me your quickest answer. Move to the next one. All right. So, are you ready?
Ready.
Ready to tap in? All right, let's go. All right. So, question number 1. One decision that changed everything.
Starting my own business.
Okay. Question number 2. Biggest mistake new business owners make that you see.
Underestimating how much work and money it's going to involve.
Ooh, good answer. Question number 3. What do you prioritize now that you ignored early on?
Family relationships.
Well, listen, I know it's rapid fire, but you just hit a home run. It kind of knocked me back off my feet. I was like, boy, this boy is in my head again. Good Lord. So anyway, listen to me. This is the last one for rapid fire. Okay. If TeleMade Pest Control had a slogan that matched your mindset, what would it be?
It'd be obsessed. Obsessed with success, money, and making people pest free.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Speaking of making people pest free, I'm gonna have to get you into. I got to get some services, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, we'll hold a pest funeral at your house.
Hey, yeah, we would definitely do that. We'd definitely do that. So listen, man. Listen. Last question.
Okay.
If a young man or woman, young lady, young man, is watching right now and thinking about his or her future, what do you want them to understand about patience, work ethic, and ownership?
Well, those are good 3 things. Patience, everybody says is a virtue. And it's true. It's very much true. But you don't pray for patience because then God's going to try you. So patience is key because especially nowadays, everything's so instant. I need to know something. We just Google it. Heck, we even chat GPT it now.
I use Claude.
Or Claude. Okay. You need money. You can borrow money from anywhere. You can get money from anywhere.
Yeah,
you need, anything you need is pretty much right at your fingertips. You need toilet paper. You can get that delivered to you right now. I mean, anything and everything is easily and very quickly accessible to where, when it comes to like life, there is no shortcut to anything. You get people that are CEOs or they're really high up in some company and, very successful people. It didn't just happen overnight. It might have, that's what people see. They might see, oh, this company is a great company, but you didn't see the 15, 10, 20 years that it took for them grinding with somebody else and then grinding somewhere else while trying to grind at their own business. So there is no overnight success. We think that because that's all we see, but nobody sees the sleepless nights. Nobody sees the headaches, the struggles, the trials, and all that stuff. So I think that's the biggest thing with patience. I think that's why it's really it's a struggle for more people now because of how quickly we're in instant gratification society now.
Yes, we are.
For most things, you can do it. Success, it doesn't come that way. What was the other one?
Work ethic. Work ethic.
I mean, here's what I tell people. People like, oh, you're a smart guy. Look, I'm not smarter than anybody next to me. You can take a homeless person off street. They might be smarter than I am. But what they can't, again, it comes back to what can you and what can't you control. I can't control my God-given talents on, how smart I am or how I think or how I operate. What I can control is what do I do with what I'm given with. And, at the end of the day, you can be the smartest person, you can be the most talented person, but if you don't work, you're going to get passed up. And the one thing I can't control is work ethic. I can control how hard I work and how much effort I put into it.
Correct.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm sure there's probably somebody out there that works harder than I do. And that's okay. But I can control how much work and how much effort I put into it. And so I control that. And so because of that, I control my own destiny. And then what's the third one?
The third one was ownership.
Ownership is easy. Everybody has to take ownership. When right now we're really talking about owning a business, but I mean, people own a lot of things. People own a phone. People own their life. People own their job. Essentially, anybody that works a W-2 job has their own business. And what I mean by that is their business is their services. Their services was deemed important and worth whatever monetary you get per hour or whatever salary you get. But at the end of the day, that W-2, that job that you get, that salary that you make is for the services of Christian Allen or Tony Porter or whoever else you are. That money gets paid to the Christian Allen, LLC, because the boss, the company wants your services. And so essentially you have to continue to sell yourself, whether you're looking for a new job, now you're trying to sell yourself to this new company, or maybe you're trying to keep a job. Everybody's trying to keep a job. Yeah, well, you got to continue to sell yourself to your current boss that you are still valuable and relevant for the job. And I mean, it just goes down to everything. You have to own every minute, every second, every hour of your day, and understand that you're the only one that controls that. And you are in control of how much money you can make. Yeah, jobs set a limit on how much they're going to pay, but you can work there for a little bit, hone your skills, improve your skills on your own time when you're not getting paid. That's the biggest thing is, people like, oh, well, I want to get paid a lot of money. I want to make, these kids these days are very bold. I wish I would have came in and been like, man, I want like $23 an hour and PTO time. And I'm like, I started at $10 an hour and I thought I was making bank. I'm like, woohoo, $300 for the week. I was like, heck yeah, let's go. Hey, I thought I was rolling.
You like these kids are bold with that.
These kids nowadays, they come in, we want $23 an hour. Well, what do you offer me? Well, I'm out of high school and I'm young and eager to work. Okay, so then you negotiate a salary, and then you're like, oh, well, now we need more money. Well, cool. What do you bring to the table that is worth an extra $1 or $2 an hour? Well, you can't tell me. But have you read books? Like you said, there's conferences. Have you attended any conferences? Have you listened to free podcasts? Have you read or listened to Audible books? Did you go and get a college degree or certificates in something that makes you more valuable? Like, what have you done to make your company worth more money to me, who's going to be paying you that? And so I think at the end of the day, people in this generation, we don't take ownership for things. It's a victim mentality of, oh, woe is me, this happened to us.
Correct.
Versus just being like, yeah, I fucked up, or oops, I messed up.
You good, bro.
Or
you are good.
Whatever the case may be, like, I messed up and I take ownership for it, and I'm gonna dig myself out of the hole. Versus nowadays, people like, oh, woe is me, the dog died, got hit by a car, and my wife left me, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. People just like, and at the end of the day, everybody's got a sob story. Nobody cares.
Right.
So you got to take ownership of your life and what you do.
Exactly. Hey, man. Again, I appreciate you, man. You knocked it out the park one more time. And it's always good to chop it up with you.
Always, man.
So now the next move for me is I want to get you and your mans on her so we can talk about what he's got going on. Both of y'all have outstanding businesses, man. And again, the reason why I decided to start now, and I was telling Jim this earlier, I said, hey, man, I could have went out and tried to get A-list people. I said, but we got people here who might need to get elevated, just like I need to get elevated. He was like, yeah. I said, so I'm asking friends. I'm asking people who have businesses. I'm asking people who want to be able to sit back and have that 6 to 7 figure business and actually 7 figures without having to stress, without having to worry about this and worry about that. Like you said, with tasking on the calendars, you want to make sure you got all of that time back. You want to be able to say, this is running by itself right now. Let's go on vacation. That's what this is about. That's what this whole conversation was about. Again, Christian, man, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man, just having me on. It's an honor.
Thanks for stopping by. And again, do not worry, because as soon as it's done editing and everything is added in, I'm going to send you those clips, the whole episode. I'm going to send it to you. That way you can have it. You can do whatever you need to do with it, man, to help.
You just post it wherever you want, man. Post it and I'll share it. I'll get you famous.
No, we're going to get famous together, man. So again, ladies and gentlemen, please thank my man, Christian Allen, owner of Tema Pest Control. It's my guy, dear friend. Hey, man, support. If you need pest control, man, reach out to him. You can find him. And I'm going to put the links. He's going to send me all of his links. I think I already got them, but I'm going to put all of his linkage. Yeah, I probably do. I'm going to put all his linkage in the description below, man. And again, Christian, man, shout out to you, man. Good luck with your future endeavors. And I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all, man. All right?
Bye. Appreciate it.
Peace out. Hey, so
thanks for tuning in to Podcast for Profit. If you got value today, share this episode with a creator who's ready to level up. And make sure you hit follow so you never miss the moves we're making. If you're serious about turning your podcast into a business, tap the link in the show notes to join the Solo Empire Network and get the tools,